Today, it's the story of John Thomas, 20 years sober, and how he found Christ in recovery. We are having some audio problems there, so we don't care. That's just the opening. We're thankful that you're here today. It's the 21st day of September in the Lord's year 2015. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is Restoring Hope Live, Recovery Monday, brought to you by the good folks at Powell CDC. Remember, you do know somebody that can help you with that spouse or that child or that sibling or that friend or that, somebody you work with. It's just obvious. Every Monday it's the brown bottle flu. And if they do show up, they're not effective. And you can just tell that they've spent the weekend drinking or smoking or doing whatever they do that's horrible for them. You now know somebody through Powell. You know Lila, you know Bob, you know me. You now know somebody. 263-2424. That's Powell's number. We will do everything we can to help you. Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat. Lila back. Boy, it's been a while. No, I
was here last week.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it was a while before that.
Before that, yeah. And did you have a nice vacation?
Yeah, I went to the lake again this weekend.
How much longer can you go to the lake?
That was Jim's and my last week up there. My brother's there now for 2 weeks, and then they'll close.
Okay. So we're stuck with you for a while.
Yeah.
All right. And how's that new grandbaby coming?
Fine, but there's another one coming. Ashley's pregnant again.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, yeah. Well, she'll have it.
Oh, I thought you meant a third one.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, I ended up calling the other day. I thought I was calling your number, and I called Ashley's.
Oh.
And I said, so how's the pregnancy going? I'm ready to have this baby.
Yeah, she is.
All right, I want to introduce you to John Thomas. John is 20 years sober and turned his life over to Jesus on the 15th day of July in 1975, but he kept drinking and kept using, and we're going to hear that story from John today. John, welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And we want to get right on that mic. We want to also thank Jill King from King's Christian Bookstore, who kind of put the two of us together.
Yeah.
How do you know Jill?
I go in her store a lot.
Do you?
Yeah. And I've been to Cornerstone Church up in Boone, where she goes, fellowships.
Yeah, she's good people.
Yes, she is.
All right, so tell me where you were born and raised.
I was born in Texas, but raised right here in Iowa, right here in Des Moines, actually.
Okay. What school did you go to?
Which one?
High school.
Oh, high school, Des Moines Tech.
Des Moines Tech. All right.
Not there anymore, obviously.
Nope. And do you remember the first time you took a drink of alcohol?
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget that.
Tell me about it.
Oh, let's see. I was actually a little itty bitty boy. My great grandfather, who was from the old country and had those old country kind of values, gave me a little bit of the homemade moonshine that they were famous for.
Oh my!
Plum brandy. Yeah, a little bit about like that was enough to. And of course, everybody laughed.
What
Maybe
old
a
country?
thimbleful.
What old country?
Well, I don't know if I should say. They may come after me.
Okay.
Serbia, actually.
Okay, cool.
They're Serbians.
And so you took a sip of the plum brandy that your grandpa made.
Yeah, I was convinced it was just something innocuous. Being like 3 or 4 years old at the time.
Oh my!
Yeah, and all the guys thought it was kind of cute. It's Christmas time; they were all getting bent for Christmas, I guess. Till my mom found out. That was the end of that. She wasn't happy with it.
And was it your granddad that gave you the plum?
Yeah, it was.
And then his daughter, who's your mom?
No, my great grandfather. It was my mother's grandfather.
Okay,
Yeah.
So your great grandfather.
Yeah,
So what did mom do to grandpa?
Oh, she got mad, gave him a little piece of her mind, and grabbed my hand and took me out of the basement where all the guys were hanging out. So that was just the way he was, and everybody was used to it. But the family's not like that, really, not a lot. So
Okay. And when do you think you drank again then?
Well, when I was probably about 14, I started hanging out with a friend of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you hear that? 14.
14.
Yeah.
And hanging around with a friend of mine, and what happened?
Well, his dad was pretty liberal, and they were partiers too. So once they were asleep, we'd just go to the fridge and get whatever we wanted. And I'd go over and spend the night. Can I spend the night at my friend's house? That kind of thing. So
And Mom would say, "Oh, good, they're nice people, sure."
Yeah.
And then you just continue to drink all night long.
Well, until I passed out, probably.
Okay. Did you ever get in any trouble while in high school or middle school for drinking?
Not a lot. Not really. I never got caught for, I don't know how many times I should have been brought before the court for DWIs. And I've been lucky, actually. I'm one of the few lucky ones that never had to actually pay for.
You never had an OWI?
Never.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Knock on wood and all that for Mike or whatever.
Yeah, you are a blessed man for that.
There's, how many cars I've wrecked or how many times I could have actually killed somebody else in a head-on and stuff. It's the grace of God that kept me from it.
Yeah. All right. So when you got out of high school, did you go to college?
A little bit of DMAC, 2 years.
Okay. Studying to be?
Well, originally it was going to be, I can't think now, respiratory therapy.
Okay.
And instead, for some reason, probably because of the drugs, I just kind of lost interest and faded away from that.
You said drugs, so you picked up what, smoking marijuana?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was not too long after, probably even before high school. I started picking that up, too.
When did you graduate from high school?
1978.
Okay. So I know there's always been marijuana around, but I don't think it was big until I graduated in 67, and it wasn't until 68, 69. After I left high school, then it started becoming a bigger deal. But I think musicians, different people, it was around, but not like it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So did marijuana come before the drinking at the friend's house, spending the night?
No, that came after.
That came after. And where did you get your pot? No names, please.
Yeah. Well, there's this guy, and his address is. It was a neighbor kid, believe it or not. His older brother was a dealer.
Yeah.
Small-time dealer. It just kind of became available, so to speak.
We've mentioned this on here before, but the pot we get today is 27 times more potent than it was back in the day.
Well, back then it was ditchweed.
Right, but I think a lot of parents say to themselves, "Oh, my kid's just doing pot," thinking it was what they used to do, and it's not at all.
Yeah, and a lot of it's engineered.
Yeah,
genetically engineered.
And you never know what between the person growing it. By the time it gets to you, you don't know what people have added to it at all.
Yeah, and the reason Lila knows this is she is a professional drug and alcohol counselor at Powell CDC. I didn't want somebody who just listened for the first time said, "Wow, Lila sure knows about the pot business, doesn't she?" But, I mean, that's what it is. And she's right, 27, not 2 or 7, 27 times more powerful than what we had when we were kids in the 60s and 70s. Unbelievable. You know why they made marijuana illegal?
No.
Because they wanted to curtail immigration from Mexico. And they thought if they made pot illegal, then the Mexicans wouldn't come across the border to sell pot to us.
Whoa.
Boy, were they wrong on that. Yep, that's how marijuana became illegal. All right, my guest is John Thomas. It's Restoring Hope Live, 20 years sober. So you go to college and you drop out? Is that the right word? Or burn out? Or?
Yeah. Burnout, dropout, pretty much the same thing, really.
And at this point, is alcohol and marijuana a daily thing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And were you able to hold any jobs?
Not for long.
Nope, because you'd be drunk or you'd be high.
Mm-hmm.
Were you what we would call a stoner?
I became that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you when you were in college? Just a user?
Yeah, recreational. I can do this and I can put it down anytime I want. Yeah, no way. No, not really.
So you thought you were even addicted to marijuana?
Oh, yeah, I do now. Yeah, definitely. And I've known that for like the last 10 years or so, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I like what he said because most people that are addicted really don't know it. They're in such denial. They will think of every reason possible why they're not addicted. And you just said you've been sober 20 years, and it's just been the last 10 years you've realized that you really were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's important for messages like that John just had to have people hear that.
Yeah.
You can get addicted to marijuana. It can be something that your body requires you to, or it fools you in thinking you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the other thing is if kids are using it, ages 13, 14, your brain is not developed until after 21. So they have done research, and it really does mess up your brain chemistry to smoke at a young age.
I would imagine everything you put in your body at that young age has a negative impact on your body and your brain.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could have had much better grades if I hadn't have done it.
What kind of student were you?
Well, average.
Average.
Just average, maybe. And I heard it a lot from my mother, who went to PTA meetings, et cetera, et cetera. John could do so much better if he just applied himself.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, right there's the reason I wasn't applying myself. I was too busy being distracted by something else.
Yeah, if you just apply yourself. Now, is your mother still living?
No, she passed away years ago.
But she got to see you sober?
Well, at times, but no. She died in 1982.
Okay. And what did it do to her to see her little Johnny, if I can use that term, waste his life the way he was?
No, it certainly wasn't good for her, that's for sure. She ended up dying of a heart condition, but I'm sure the stress of many different things, and I'm sure I helped contribute to that. So I can look back at that now and say, yeah, I probably did contribute to my own mother's death just by having the crazy lifestyle I did. Never knowing what was going to happen, what time of the night I was going to come in, who I was going to come in with. It prompted them to ask me to leave when I was 18, and again, after I had financial problems and moved back in, they asked me to leave again when I was in my 20s. So, and you really don't want to live with your mother that long anyway.
No, I wouldn't think so. Although I got to tell you, I moved out on the Sunday of graduation. I graduated from high school on a Sunday in July, and or late June, whatever it was, and I had my car packed and I was gone. And as I got older in life, I thought, I should have stayed around home longer. I should have saved my money as much as I could, but I just wanted to be out on my own. So I think a lot of us do that. And how about your dad? Is he still living?
No, he passed away too.
Okay. And did he help you get sober, or did he want you to be sober? He didn't care?
Not really. My father, he passed away in the 72, I think.
Oh, my.
My stepdad was the one who, he tried to help me become sober. Quit smoking, tried to straighten me up, et cetera, et cetera. But by that time, it was the animosity of the teenager against the interloper parent. You're not my dad, don't talk to me, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. And we had a lot of physical problems.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
You and him fought a lot?
Yeah. So, and in fact, he's going through Alzheimer's right now up in Marshalltown. Veterans home up there. He's still kicking though.
Does he remember you when you go into the room?
I haven't gone up to see him yet. I have my own problems where I still can't support myself as well as I'd like to.
Yeah.
So getting up to Marshalltown is kind of a problem sometimes.
That's expensive.
So, yeah.
How long has he been in Marshalltown?
I think just within the last year.
Okay. All right. Now, did you have siblings?
Yeah, I've got a half brother who's still alive, and my actual full younger brother is also passed away. They all died of heart disease. I'm the only one who's managed to survive them all somehow.
Were they all involved in drugs and alcohol?
No, my brother was. The one that passed away was, yeah.
Okay. But your younger brother, who's alive?
My half-brother wasn't, no.
Half-brother.
The last one's alive.
And the half-brother would be the son of the man that's in Marshalltown.
Yeah.
All right, well, great story. John Thomas is his name, 20 years sober, found the Lord on the 15th day of July in the year 1975. We'll talk to him about that. Remember that you've got a friend in Powell. You don't have to worry about what you're going to do about that son or that daughter or that brother or sister or friend. Might even be somebody in your Bible study or in church that is using and drinking, and they are. And what are you going to do about it? Well, you can do something. It's easy. Call 263-2424 and ask for Lila. Ask for somebody down there, Kim, somebody, and get started on a road to recovery because Powell's the place to do that. We're coming back live here on The Truth, 99.3, powered by webcast1live.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Hi, I'm J. Michael McCoy, and about 20 years ago, I went to a used car salesman by the name of John Hewitt. He had a little shop over there on North 2nd Avenue called John's Auto Sales, and I bought a car. I found that experience to be one that I had never had before from a used car salesman. He was honest, he was dependable, he had integrity, and he did what he said he was going to do. Well, over the years, between my kids and grandkids, I've purchased 7 vehicles from John's Auto Sales. And last month, I asked him to be a sponsor. I can tell you about their huge selection. I can tell you about their years of experience. I can tell you about their honest integrity. But all I really need to tell you is that I bought 7 cars, and you can trust them. John's Auto Sales, 5435 2nd Avenue, Des Moines.
You need a good ride when you hit the trail. Trust the man with the cars, and he goes by the name of Big John. Big John. Big John.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
All right, we're back on this 21st day of September in the Lord's year 2015. Don't forget Meredith Andrews live at First Church of the Open Bible this Thursday, 7 p.m. Tickets in advance, $15. Tickets at the door, $20. Proceeds of the benefit go to Freedom for Youth, all their ministries. You know who Meredith Andrews is. If you don't, you know her songs. Just Google her and listen to some of the amazing songs that play on the radio all the time. And you can see her in person, close and personal, this Thursday night, the 24th, at First Church of the Open Bible. All right. Salem Radio Network News at 3 o'clock, and then at 3:03, Steve Noble, brand new afternoon drive personality here. I think you're going to like him. You've probably heard him on my show before. He was with us with the Faith and Freedom Coalition up in Ames a few months ago. He knows his stuff. He's sharp, and I think you'll enjoy him. All right. John Thomas is my guest, 20 years sober. He is he's a smart guy and recalls his past very well. Kind of soft-spoken, and that's nice to have for a change, especially with big mouths like me around. Speaking of big mouths, Lila, nice to have you back.
Oh, God, thanks.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding you. And Bob, nice to have you here. Anybody on the chat want to ask anything intelligent?
Army Brad is talking about the previous show.
Oh, Army Brad's still talking about the previous show. All right. All right, so John, let's take you to about 22, 23 years old. You're not in college anymore, or did you go back to college?
No, not right away, no.
All right. And so what did you do? I mean, you're 21, 22 years old. You dropped out of DMAC. You're drinking and smoking pot.
Various jobs, yeah.
Like what kind of jobs? Just fast food?
No, not even that. Thinking I'm trying to go up the ladder, I'm doing sales or I suppose what? Yeah, the pizza delivery, stuff like that. You know,
Okay.
just pretty menial stuff.
Just trying to get by.
But about that time was when I actually discovered that I actually got my hands on my first computer and started my business I was telling you about.
Yeah, you had a in-home computer business.
Yeah, and that changed me, and I thought I was going to go in that direction and it actually helped, I suppose, as you said, and thank you for that compliment that I'm an intelligent guy. It helped me focus, but I was still using, but it was more recreational, but it was constant. Unfortunately, it wasn't.
You were always stoned.
Most of the time, yeah. It wasn't your typical stoner kind of image, but it was pretty close, yeah.
And did you said you had siblings? Were they involved in your life at this point at all?
At times, yeah. My
Okay.
my younger brother, he and I became close. We got apart junior high school. He went to a different high school than I did, and had his own clique of friends and so on. And about this time, we got back to being brothers and solidifying a relationship again.
Okay. And how did the death of your mother in 1982 impact the relationship you had with alcohol and drugs?
Impact. Well, it didn't make much of a change, really. I thought it would. I was hoping it would, but I didn't let it, apparently. And the really sad thing is, I was actually on drugs when we went to view the body at the hospital. I was doing some kind of, I forgot what it was now. No, it wasn't Vicodin. It was some kind of painkiller of some sort. I can't remember which one it was now, which is probably a good thing. And I remember actually crying and feeling as if it wasn't really me that was grieving for my mother, who was laying right there in front of me. So it was, and that's affecting me right now, even just thinking about that. It's just that to me, that's sad, that you can't actually feel for another human being. And that can lead to all kinds of sociopathic behaviors, that's for sure.
John Thomas is our guest. When you say what was the word you just used?
Sociopathic.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? What were your behaviors?
Well, I read a lot of science fiction. I read a lot of science fiction. I've seen a lot of the movies, and there's always been kind of a correlation between bad social behaviors, killing, murdering, thieving, mugging, whatever, and people who are abnormal, from either alcohol or drugs. I mean, the classic is the Clockwork Orange movie by Stanley Kubrick, which of course I thought was great because I love Beethoven. If you've seen that movie or not, you'd know the reference to that. And yet it's a sick movie, and it was designed that way to scare people and make people realize that this is what can happen. When you let yourself go and let something else take over your life, and you have no control, then you have no idea what it is you're doing. And when you if you get caught, which many do, and you are now held responsible for those behaviors, you can't say, it wasn't me, because you're the one that chose to take the drug or drink or get behind the wheel of your car, waste it out of your mind. And there are always consequences for whatever we do.
What are the consequences you paid? Because we talked about that you never went to jail. There was no OWI. You didn't get in trouble with the law in other ways, or did you?
No, the biggest thing I ever had problems with were way too many parking tickets because of my hot rodding days.
Okay.
My suffering now is, and it's becoming more clear to me as I'm getting back into my faith after these 40 years of just being an ambiguous, I was a Christian, yes, and I was born again, and quick, give me that six-pack, that kind of thing. Now I realize now that all the things that I've gone through, 7 or 8 times of homelessness in my life, and the poverty that I'm still basically going through, not being able to, get a good, decent job or have a career even. things like that. That's what I'm paying for. Or that's how I'm paying for it.
Those are your consequences.
Those are my consequences.
If you're a young person, be listening to John. There's a lot of wisdom coming out of your radio right now.
There's.
Is it because, I mean, your brain's clear now, but it's just you're at an age where people don't want to hire you because you don't have any experience?
That's part of it. Yeah, I'm sure that's. And the fact that most of my teeth are missing from doing meth and crack and so on. But also, I think it's, in my opinion, I think that it's a good thing. It's God's grace to teach me that there are consequences and get me back on the road that I should be on. Mm-hmm. And all I have to do is just wait, and eventually those rewards will show up or whatever.
Yeah.
John Thomas is our guest today. 20 years sober, so never in jail, never OWI. But just, what was the best job you ever had that you really wish you could have hung on to?
One I just had recently, about 3 years ago. About 3 years ago, we put in working for a company that put in all the new point of sale systems for a very large drug chain.
Okay,
and it's kind of ironic, large drug chain. Didn't think about that one before I said it. And it was a really good job. It was almost $15 an hour, and we worked 4 days a week, and they would fly me around the country with another guy from Iowa, and then we did mostly the Omaha stores. And we spent a lot of time in Omaha because they have a lot of these stores. But they flew us to Shreveport and San Antonio, et cetera. So, it was a lot of fun. Chicago. So.
Did you work on the computer end of things? What did you
I was actually hired as a temp to assist the lead technician, who was the guy who actually changed out the servers and things like that. He did all the high-end tech stuff. I just drilled the holes, ran the wires. But it was a good job because I'm in the same hotel he is. We got a rental car. I have a credit card for meals and stuff. So it was a very good job, and I wish I would have been able to hang on to something like that.
How long did you have the job?
That was an eight-month thing.
8 months.
January to August, yeah. It was that was how long the project would last.
All right, so you didn't get fired for something you had done wrong.
Not that one. But then by this time I had quit drinking. I'd quit doing the drugs. I was still smoking cigarettes, obviously, but I just quit that almost 2 years ago. So I was getting my life back, but it wasn't something that was going to last. It wasn't planned that way, no.
Now, you talked about meth. When did you start smoking meth?
That was kind of, actually, originally I started actually just snorting it, yeah, exactly, ew. I still have probably sinus problems from that. That would have been middle 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did it off and on for just a few years. I realized how bad it was. I even had, if you don't mind, I'll tell you the one really bad experience I had with meth.
I'd like to hear that.
I was living. The girlfriend had left, and which didn't bother me too much. I had my computer stuff and my games, or whatever life I had at the time that most people would have, and even nowadays. Self-entertainment, self-addiction, and the meth ran out one night, and I couldn't get any more. Didn't have any money, and being the reasonable guy that I think I was, and hopefully still am, or more so, I didn't want to call my dealer and wake him up at 3 o'clock in the morning, But I started having these thoughts that some, I'm sure others have had. The thoughts of, well, this isn't good for you. You can't handle this. You've got to have more, or you're going to have to kill yourself. And that became so intense. The suicidal thoughts, just pounding almost out of my mind. It was drowning every other thought in my head out, and all I could do was just scream at the walls that they need to shut up. And yeah, of course that doesn't do a whole lot of good. But I started focusing, focusing against that kind of thought. Eventually drown that back out, and otherwise I may not be here.
So what do you obviously the drug had taken over your mind?
No, this is a withdrawal from the drug.
Oh.
Not a pretty thing.
Because you didn't choose to do this. You ran out of money and you ran out of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you living at the time?
In Des Moines.
Okay, just a rented house or apartment or something?
Duplex, yeah.
Okay. What do you remember about the job that you had for 8 months that you liked so much? How did it make you feel? How did it build up your self-esteem?
Well, the fact that I could pay my bills and have the internet to have more interactions with gaming online or whatever it was I was interested in. And I actually enjoy just surfing the net for knowledge, just for, things to fill my mind with, I didn't know that Descartes was this kind of guy. And, really, Queen Victoria was only 5'6", or, whatever it is.
Yeah. Did you ever find a site called Stumble Upon?
No.
That's a fun site. Stumble Upon.
Too bad I didn't stumble on that. Yeah.
You tell it what your likes are, and then it goes through and grabs random websites around the world that are in line with your likeness. And every once in a while you get a fruitcake, but for the most part it's pretty fun websites, and they're usually underground websites. They're not the big websites that you and I would expect to see. You should try that sometime. Stumble Upon.
I'll try that. Yeah.
All right, John Thomas is my guest. We have Lila Stafford here, Coco, Grandma Coco, and Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat. Frank is producing, and I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. I love this job. I couldn't do it without you. Right here on The Truth. Yep, The Truth. 99.3, powered by webcast1live.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're gonna make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then our brand new afternoon show, Steve Noble. Great guy. He's been on the radio here with me. You'll find him energetic, smart, kind of a smart aleck, not very arrogant, a good man. And I think you'll enjoy his program. I hope you listen today as he's live on the Truth Network. I'm J. Michael McCoy. I have the opportunity to do this show every day from 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It is, I'm so blessed. I can't believe that God intended me to talk into a microphone, all my life. And then at some point, because I played rock and roll, I came to Des Moines in 1978 and was on KIOA and then on different rock stations. And he ended up bringing me to Christian radio, which is the epitome of humility. The fact that he would bring me here and talk to you. But there is something different about this show. Most of the shows that we have on this network, the people that sit in my seats are preachers and teachers. And I'm neither. I'm a facilitator. I always have been. Facilitate a conversation is what I enjoy doing. So I have experts all around me. I have Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat, who spent 35 years with the state of Iowa in the
drug and toxicology section.
Yeah. Who has been called in 1,000 times across the country for expert testimony on drugs and toxicology. I've got Lila Stafford here, whose story is just incredible, about how she grew up here in Des Moines and drank everything in sight. Did you use drugs too?
Sometimes when I was drunk.
Okay. And then 28 years ago, you got
29.
sober? 29 years ago, you got sober and committed her life to helping other people. There's probably no greater couple in our community. Greater is the wrong term. There's probably no more committed community than her and her husband, Jim Stafford. And they have done so much for our community. Your line of sponsorees has got to be huge between the two of you. Thousands of people.
I don't know about thousands, but we have helped people.
Yeah, you have. And now she works at PAL 263-2424. That's their number. And she helps people every single day find relief from these terrible hurts, habits, and hang-ups that absolutely have destroyed lives. And we're sitting before a young man today by the name of John Thomas, and he didn't allow the drugs and alcohol to destroy his life. But as you said earlier, you were certainly paid the consequences.
Yes.
Now, Bob, you wanted to ask him something about the ongoingness of his drug usage.
Right. Well, and I know you've stopped doing the drugs and alcohol and so forth, and I've talked to an individual that had a really bad trip, and experienced something terrible and even after they stopped doing it, they would have flashbacks and re-experience some of those thoughts, memories, feelings of what that bad trip was. Is that something that you've experienced?
Not in its full, certainly not in the vein or the description that you're giving. It's maybe while I'm asleep dreaming. I've had those.
Feeling like they're on the drug again.
Right.
Whoa.
Right.
Yeah, and for a while after becoming clean, I'd have a whiff of some chemical would make me think, I smell meth, I smell crack, or I can, but that doesn't even bother me anymore. But it used to. I would have, and then I would think, I had those feelings where I need to go get some, and I need to get high. Mm-hmm. And so it would, it would be an olfactory sense would be triggered, and off I'd go, and I'd have to, consciously stop myself.
Any false memories? Any memories that were not actually true?
There's probably a few. I'm sure there's some and there's some that I'm not sure that actually happened or not. So there's no way of knowing.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, how would he know if it was?
If somebody said or told him that he did or said or that he wasn't aware of and it was new to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm lucky I've had friends that have never come to me with a bloody knife and gone, dude, what you did last night, you know, that kind of thing, thankfully.
Violent?
Me, no. But what I was saying was, you know, nobody's done that. You know, it's a joke, yeah.
I had that all the time. I mean, because I had blackout. I was a blackout drinker, and so I always had people telling me what I did the night before. It was horrible.
And then you didn't remember that.
I didn't remember any of it, and people thought I was lying. It was like, no, I honestly do not remember being there, doing that, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
and
a
then
tough
I one time was given mescaline, didn't know it was mescaline, and it was the worst. It was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. I was kicked out of 4 restaurants. My behavior was horrible, and I still remember what that hallucinating was like. To this day, I can remember everything about it.
In one night, this happened?
One night, and it was the worst experience of my life. I never, ever, no matter how drunk I got after that, would never take drugs.
So did you know that you were taking mescaline?
No, the guy was a pharmacist. This was down in Texas. I was visiting a friend, and someone said, "Oh, we've got you fixed up with a pharmacist." I thought, "Oh, good." And then he said to me, "Do you want to feel good tonight?" And I go, "Sure." And he goes, "Well, I mixed up this stuff at work." So I'm thinking, well, this is safe. He's a pharmacist, you know. And then I found out later it was mescaline. I was really angry about that.
I'll bet.
And it was a horrible, horrible experience.
What were you feeling? I mean, were you aware that something was wrong?
Yeah, I was hallucinating and feeling like these clowns were coming after me. I mean, like the scary kind of clowns were coming after me and screaming. It was horrible. And I know I was kicked out of 4 restaurants because people told me that.
Yeah.
I'm screaming in restaurants.
That's a PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder. You know what I'm saying, but that's a PTSD type of experience. That she has that memory that's burned into her brain, and you have things that are burned into your brain. That smell, a sound, a song, whatever brings that back.
Yeah.
And so because of that, you know, like you said, you're never going to do that because you don't want to live in that.
Right. Maybe that, you know, I never thought of that, but I do not like taking pills, and this guy gave me a pill. And maybe that's it.
That's part of it.
How did the night end up?
I don't know. One of those blackouts. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, and that's the bad thing.
Did you ever confront him?
No, I think I was leaving town, but I have since wanted to just call him and just ream him out. Even to this day, if someone gave me his name or telephone number, I would.
He's probably gone.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It really, really makes me angry. And he was a pharmacist. I mean, a real pharmacist. And
Sounds like a resentment you need to do a 4-step around.
You know, that wasn't part of my 4-step. But now that you brought it up, I'll find his number.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll help you find it. We can find anybody nowadays.
But you have memories of things that you're not happy about, you don't like.
Regrets, yes.
Regrets for what you did, and so forth.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I lost my marriage because of the alcohol alone. So
yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit, but we're coming up on break. But when were you married?
1990, 91.
All right, so it was 9 years after you graduated from high school. And how'd you meet her?
My neighbor. We report.
Okay.
And we got together one night to go bowling, and I thought she was kind of greasy looking from work. She threw luggage into the plane. But she laughed. She had a great smile. She had a verve for life. And as soon as the heavy shirt came off, I fell in lust with her right away.
All right, we'll talk about that. John Thomas is in the house, 20 years sober, how drugs and alcohol impacted his life then and how they still are now. Remember, Powell can help you, 263-2424. We sure would enjoy you making that phone call today and sitting down with one of our qualified counselors to bring you a whole new life or someone a whole new life that you love. It can happen, and it will happen through Powell. We're coming back.
A father who who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
10 minutes for the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then the Steve Noble. Steve Noble, our new afternoon drive guy. He's a great guy. Been on my show many times. You'll like him. Humorous, intelligent, political, has a great heart for Jesus. Great show this afternoon here, taking off in about 13 minutes. All right, John Thomas has been my guest today, 20 years sober, and you were talking about when you met the love of your life. She worked at the airport. You went bowling. And how long after your first date did you get married?
Oh, I think it was 6 months.
Wow. And how long were you married?
About a year and a half.
Really? So, what did you say, 92 you met her?
91. 91, yeah.
So, 90, you were together 90 to 93, something like that.
Yeah, well, toward the end of 92, maybe.
Okay.
Early 93, because the floods of 93, I was up at DMAC again, waiting for a divorce.
And did alcohol and drugs destroy that marriage?
Oh, definitely. I actually quit smoking pot for her.
Okay.
But I ended up overcompensating by drinking more. Okay. And I was up to a case of beer a day. And
oh my!
While she was pregnant with our first child, not getting the nutrition she needed because I had to have my beer. And I was an awful husband. I slid real quickly down the hole to hell in that one. And there's a regret right there. You know, I mean, I'll never forget that. As much as I tried to deny it at the time, now I know better. She was right. I was evil. I had no conception that I was actually hurting another human being.
It happens when you're in the midst of your disease.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're self-centered, selfish. Everything revolves around us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as Donald Miller, another name drop here, wrote in his book, Blue Like Jazz, I think it was, we're all self-addicted. We're all born self-addicted, and that's why babies cry. It's me, 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 me. And it's only through the grace of God that we can actually get past that and think of others.
Did you, you said you had a child?
Two daughters.
2 daughters, and where are they now?
The oldest one is here in Des Moines, raising my twin grandsons.
Okay.
And the other one is actually up in Ames at ISU.
Do you have a relationship with both those girls?
The oldest one, yes. For some reason, the younger one does not speak to me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So,
And do you still have any kind of relationship with your ex-wife?
Not really, no.
No, she's long gone.
Well, she lives with the oldest one, I think. They all live together, and they work together too, actually. But I rarely get down to Des Moines to see them.
Well, maybe sometime in the near. That's the one with the twin boys.
Yeah, it is.
Well, maybe it's time for Grandpa to stop by and say hi.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. I saw him. I got some pictures.
Good.
So
Good.
Yeah, they're walking around. That's cute.
So, what would you say to a person who is deep in the middle of their addiction, whether it be drugs or alcohol or both, and they listen to your story and they go, "Oh, that's not going to happen to me. I got a good job and my wife loves me, and no, I don't need to quit. I don't need to worry about that. In fact, I can even drink more if I wanted to."
I would say you're right. You can drink more. It's not going to happen to you, but something else will. And the more you drink, the more drugs you do, the more money you spend on your self-addiction, the worse it's going to be when you either quit and get sober and get clean, or you end up incarcerated or worse. It's not worth it. I mean, it may seem like a really good time right now, and you may seem like you're on top of the world and you're talking to God, but that's not really God. And I know that for a fact. I used to think that myself. Doing meth, doing acid, whatever. And I know better now. That wasn't God. God is the little voice that keeps tapping on your shoulder going, "Don't do that. It's not good for you." That's God. The one that says, "Go ahead, try it, do more." That's not God.
Yeah. When did you figure that out?
Oh, probably a lot over the course of the last 40 years. Okay. But I would quickly forget it. The addiction I would just let it take over. I would allow myself to rationalize that I needed to do more. No, I can do more. No, I can handle this. But I couldn't. I ruined my life doing it.
So far.
And I'm still paying for it.
Yeah, but you got a long life ahead of you, too.
That's right. I'm 55. Well, thanks for calling me a young man, by the way.
Well, you've got 20, 25 years left.
Is that all? Oh, thanks.
Well, I thought that was 80 years old.
55, he'd be 75. I don't know. I hate thinking about that. I'm 65 and I'm going to live to be 100.
There you probably will, just to make your husband mad.
Yeah.
And he'll live that far long too. So, if you could change anything, what would you change?
You mean now or in the past?
In the past. What would you go back and change?
Ooh, well, I would change the drinking with that buddy of mine in junior high over at his house.
Okay.
Partly because of me, but partly because of him. Because not long after high school, he killed himself.
Oh, I'm sorry. And drug and alcohol abuse had something to do with that.
And mine, yeah, because this is one of the problems with addiction is you grow apart from everything else around you. Yep. While you think, while you think you're being inclusive or you're expanding into the universe and stuff. It's all a dream. It's all a lie is what it is. You're actually
kind of.
Exactly.
Yep.
I still live like that. I hide in my apartment all the time. I watch movies, read my books, read my Bible, whatever it is, but I don't like going out.
I've thought that this whole interview today, I've thought that about you. And that was the piece of the puzzle that maybe you need to put back in, because it's Dr. Hoagland, who was our doctor for many years at Powell, used to say, in recovery, we substitute our addiction to alcohol to our addiction on other people.
Yeah.
And we need other people.
And I feel led like that, by God, to do that, to get out and contribute. But I'm still so, and I know I'm kind of overusing this term, but I am so self-addicted that I'm still kind of living in denial. Then I don't need to go out. I'll just stay here and I'll read Ecclesiastes again. I promise.
It's very easy get into that. You know, talk to ourselves about that. But maybe use small steps. At least you're saying it out loud today. So that's the first step, acknowledging it and then doing something about it.
Well, I have helped out in, there's a church up in Ames where I live now that does a dinner every night, and I've helped out there and stuff.
Good.
I got foot problems too, though. So,
John, I want to thank you for being here, for sharing your story. We love you, and we thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Tonight, man, that person you've been looking to forgive them, because as you forgive, you shall be forgiven. I'll see you tomorrow.